Alright legends, today it's anime time, and we're taking you back to some gems of classic anime that lifted the entire genre to become the international sensation that it is today. The first thing that hits you when you begin to watch a 70s anime is the warm, ever-present haze, which may seem foreign or even dated to younger audiences. It's an otherworldly quality that we're not used to anymore, sired by the handsy process of pencils, paints, and paintbrushes, creating that classic anime look that you cannot and must not sleep on. Lupin III, Mazinger Z, Space Battleship Yamato, and Doron are just a few of the many memorable anime that emerged from this era. Coinciding with the rise of cyberpunk in the West, the 70s saw the rise of anime in the East, with some out-of-the-box stars whose DNA is embedded in modern anime. The massive expansion in the Japanese TV series scene in this decade gave anime a huge boost, and the talent around it began to swell. Mecha, or the giant robot genre, evolved by leaps and bounds, and everything was happening just right for the Japanese animation studios. So let's go ahead and explore 20 anime wonders from the 70s that changed the landscape and still resonate with modern viewers today. Before we get right into it though, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing. It's a small click for you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. Let's begin. To kick off our 70s campout anime list, we've got Tomorrow's Joe, 1970 to 1971. Underdog stories never cease to jog up strong emotions, and Tomorrow's Joe goes one step farther by chalking out an underdog boxing tale. Fate would bring together two hoodlums, Joe Yabuki, a teenage orphan whom life had turned into a brash roughneck, and the homeless, hopeless former boxing trainer who was drowning his sorrows in a bottle a day. These unlikely fellas team up and go on to create pro-boxing history. You're already getting ready to download this joint, aren't you? Well, we can't say we blame you. This 79-episode TV series was produced by Mushi Productions and directed by Osamu Dezaki. In the 1980s, it received a sequel and an attempted remake. Tomorrow's Joe is an incredibly detailed story with such a sincere emphasis on character building that the fight sequences feel emotionally charged and real. There's even some well-placed humor to round the whole thing off. Laying the groundwork for all sports anime that followed, Tomorrow's Joe became a bona fide classic and is as watchable today as ever. Lupin III, 1971 to 72. Lupin III has an exciting plot about the adventures of an expert thief, Lupin III, and his partners in crime. This third-generation thief and his curious band of miscreants go around the world pulling off heists with the ever-perky but fumbling Inspector Zenigata, who is always hot on their tail. The series is so similar to The Italian Job in that it is stylish and comes with sharp humor from the characters who are all memorable in their own right. Created as an adaptation of the popular manga by Monkey Punch, the 23-episode-long Lupin III is a Japanese cultural icon with multiple adaptations and spin-offs to its credit. In fact, Part 2 of the series in '77 was also hugely popular. The latest installment of the series, Lupin III Part 6, released in 2021 and 22, though it received some shoddy reviews. Science Ninja Team Gatchaman, 1972 to 74. Known as Battle of the Planets in the United States, the teenage superhero-themed Gatchaman was produced by Tatsunoko Productions. The story goes that Galactor, an intergalactic terrorist organization, has its eyes on Earth, and a bunch of bird-themed ninja superheroes battle them to keep Earth safe. The series was one of the frontrunners in the superhero genre, standing out because of its vivid color schemes and exciting hero and villain clashes. Science Ninja Team Gatchaman is touted as a cult classic influencing many amazing modern anime, including Sailor Moon and Power Rangers. Gatchaman 2 was released in 1978 and Gatchaman Fighter in '79. Both sequels capitalized on their predecessors' fame and received English dubs for Western audiences later down the line. The franchise continued to grow with remakes and a Japanese live-action adaptation in 2013. Devilman, 1972 to 73. Devilman was a horror anime series by Go Nagai. Widely regarded as one of the darkest 70s anime, Devilman follows the story of Akira Furo, a teenager who's killed in the Himalayas, where Amon, or the Devilman, takes his body and a vigilante is born. Devilman becomes the defender of humanity who fights against its aggressors, both demons and evil humans. Believe it or not, this morbid anime was actually a toned-down version of Nagai's extreme manga series, Demon Lord Dante. Devilman's graphic violence and mature themes make this series stand out among the rest. The series has 4 spin-off mangas and a live-action film by the same name which came out in 2004. It also has a 2018 web anime, Devilman Crybaby, which you can check out on Netflix. Doraemon. You probably recognize this blue and white robotic cat from that time you were flicking through the kiddie channels to find that one your baby brother was whining about. One of those animations that needs no introduction, Doraemon's popularity among children has stood the test of time. In all three anime series, in 73, 79, and 2005, they were adapted from the original manga series. Nippon Telemovie Productions produced the first 1973 anime that started it all. The 22nd century sentient robotic cat Doraemon travels back to the 20th century and begins to stay with Nobita. The Nobi family loves Doraemon as their own, and he's always there to give them a hand with his awesome 22nd century tech. Doraemon becomes Nobita's cheat code, helping him with his schoolwork and personality and instilling confidence in the lazy boy. The second anime adaptation of Doraemon by Shin-E Animation was even more successful than the first. The Doraemon franchise is one of the most successful anime franchises ever, with over 40 animation films and a sea of merchandise and media adaptations, including video games, soundtrack albums, musicals, the whole shebang. Next up, we've got another underdog sports spectacular. Aim for the Ace, 1973 to 74. A welcome sports anime by Osamu Dezaki, Aim for the Ace follows the rise of a 15-year-old high schooler, Hiromi Oka, in the world of tennis. Oka harbors ambition to turn pro, but internally lacks confidence. But she finds inspiration from a veteran senior, Reika Ryuzaki, who becomes her mentor on this quest. Aim for the Ace is one of the most successful shoujo manga series ever, with 15 million sold copies in its kitty. Its second series cashed into the growing fame, making it even more successful than the first, and was responsible for the tennis boom among young girls in the 70s. Don't you absolutely love it when sports series and films inspire people like that? This series also found a keen audience in Europe. It's an all-time sports anime classic whose moving run had a far-reaching influence on the genre. And now for the bigwig, Mazinger Z, 1972 to 74. Created by Dynamic Productions, Mazinger Z was the most important mecha anime of the time. Mazinger Z is credited with revolutionizing the use of giant robots piloted by humans in anime, a theme that was adopted by many a mecha to follow. The story is about Koji Kabuto, a teenager who pilots an awesome robot his grandfather made, Mazinger Z, to win against the evil Mycene Empire and its mad scientist, Dr. Hell. I love that name. It's good. It's a good villain name. No faffing about. We like that. Mazinger Z was a pioneer when it came to complex character development and action sequences, and its influence on the mecha genre is indisputable. The series has many sequels, spin-offs, anime, and comics like Great Mazinger and Grendizer. One was made exclusively for the American market, simply titled Mazinger. Space Battleship Yamato, 1974. Known as Star Blazers in America, Space Battleship Yamato is about a team of humans who board the spaceship Yamato and go on a mission to the planet Iskandar. They need to acquire a device that is prophesized to save the war-torn Earth from an alien invasion. Space Battleship Yamato was directed by the legendary Leiji Matsumoto, a name you will hear many times throughout our list, or any anime list, and was brought together by Academy Productions. Set in the future of 2199, this series worked with mature themes and dialogue. It was a very successful anime worldwide with a bunch of dubs, including an English and Greek dub. The show's appeal came from its solid storyline, which wasn't a big thing in the animation scene at the time. Yamato propelled the animes that followed it to adopt better and more serious themes, leaving a lasting imprint on the anime arena. It was followed by a part 2 and 3, and several animated films like Be Forever Yamato and Yamato Resurrection. It also had its share of spin-offs and remakes, and stands today as one of the most influential anime series in Japan. Tekkaman, the Space Knight, 1975. Test pilots George Minami and Hiromi Amachi, along with two friendly aliens from planet Sano, try to save a rundown Earth by eliminating the bad aliens, called Waldarians, while they search for a second Earth, aka a new planet to call home. A Tatsunoko Productions creation by Hiroshi Sasagawa and Hisayuki Toriumi, Tekkaman comes with plenty of space fighting and one-on-one violence, which may be a little extra for a children's cartoon, if we're being honest. The 90s Tekkaman Blade was more successful overseas and dubbed in the US by the name Technoman. Tekkaman Blade was about the Space Knights battling the space aliens called the Radam, but the Knights had with them a trump card, Takeya Aiba, who transformed into the heavily armored Tekkaman Blade. The series was released internationally and got an English dub for the US release. A sequel, Tekkaman Blade 2, also followed. Gamba Nukin, 1975. Based on a 70s Japanese novel whose title is translated into The Adventures of Gamba and His 15 Companions, Gamba Nukin was created by Atsuo Saito and animated by Tokyo Movie Studios. It's basically the tale of a hero mouse, Gamba. Gamba and his mice compatriots go on an adventure to save a mice clan on the island of Mishima from the evil Noroi weasels. That quick plot summary may crack you up a little, but Gamba no Boken is considered one of the best animes ever. At its core, this Osamu Dezaki series is a kid's adventure with archetypal characters that effortlessly fall into standard boxes easy for children to understand, like the clever mouse, the drunken mouse, the stubborn mouse, and so on. It has a lot of comedic moments and exciting fun-filled action. The series was followed by 2 films and a puzzle action video game. It was also released in the US with an English dub in 2017 with the title Airbound. 3,000 Leagues in Search of Mother, 1976. An Isao Takahata creation, 3,000 Leagues in Search of Mother is a heartwarming tale about an Italian kid, Marco, who takes a long road to Argentina in search of his mother. With little money or experience, Marco's journey is tough, but he makes friends along the way, like the puppeteer Peppino and the generous Mr. Maquinez. The final is so emotional you'll find yourself sobbing through all of it. This series went and got itself an endless amount of dubs with some cultural name switches and became an automatic hit in Portugal, Spain, and much of South America, the Philippines, Malaysia, Turkey, the Arab world, and Israel. Oof, it's a global spread right there. 3,000 Leagues in Search of Mother had such a deep emotional quotient that the series was universally loved and appreciated. Based on an Italian novel, Cuore, which means heart, the series was a gratifying 52-episode saga. Nippon Animation, the show's producer, adapted Cuore into a second animation series too, which was released in '81. Time Boken, 1975 to 76. Time Boken is a Tatsunoko production that just hits different, and that may be because of the time travel premise, which was still a novel thing in anime until Soji Yoshikawa penned this one down. The plot is pretty interesting though, simplistic in how it unfolds. After long years in a tireless pursuit, a crazy yet brilliant scientist, Dr. Kieta, has invented the Chronoship, an insect-shaped time travel machine. He decides to test it on himself and gets lost somewhere in a different time. So 2 kids, a friendly robot, and a parrot go on a mission to find him, and they come to explore many time periods of the past while they're at it. Don't worry, it isn't all hunky-dory dinosaurs and cavemen fun. There are real villains in there too, and some excellent time machine battles. Time Boken, Royal Revival, and Time Boken 24 were the 2 anime that came much after the original in an attempt to revive the popular series from the 70s. Time Boken 24, which was released in 2016, was a reimagining of the OG series with a visual glow-up that caters to modern tastes. Candy Candy, 1976 to 79. Candy Candy was one of the more successful shoujo or young girls shows that follows the life of a sweet orphan girl called Candy and her friends. It's a story of love, friendship, and growing up. Candy Candy was created by Kyoko Mizuki and adapted into anime by Toei Animation. It shares many thematic similarities with Anne of Green Gables and Heidi, 2 other brilliant animes from the 70s. Japanese viewers will remember it not only for its beautiful animation, but also the super catchy theme song, which was a big hit in Japan as well as overseas. Candy Candy's viewership benefited from its merchandise, which was very effective in promoting the show. The series had a few film reboots and a 1992 movie directed by Tetsuo Imazawa, who also directed the original TV series. Space Pirate Captain Harlock, 1978 to 79. Captain Harlock by Toei Animation is about honor, loyalty, and rebellion. Leiji Matsumoto penned this space opera, setting it up in 2977 CE, a time when machines are doing all the work for us and people have gone into full decadence mode. But they get a rude reality check as an alien species attacks Earth with the mind of colonizing it. And now, Earth's only hope lies with Captain Harlock and his fantastic spaceship, Arcadia. Captain Harlock is such an endearing character, handsome, silent, brooding, with big hair and a bigger scar right across his face. Can't help but watch everything he does with undivided attention. This series became a Japanese cultural phenomenon and a fan favorite right off the bat. It has plenty of prequels, sequels, and remakes, with the 92 Arcadia of my youth making a good starting point for new viewers. The original 1978 Captain Harlock had great international appeal too, was widely popular outside Japan, and had received plenty of dubs. Future Boy Conan, 1978. After a great war has desecrated the world, a young boy named Conan picks up the pieces of his life with unbelievable courage and journeys across the wasteful remains of our planet, using his superhuman strength to save his friends and himself from the enemies of his civilization. This post-apocalyptic anime is an adaptation of American writer Alexander Key's novel The Incredible Tide. The story was taken on by Nippon Animation and directed by Hayao Miyazaki. While Future Boy Conan's ratings didn't exactly bring down the house when it aired, many modern anime creators were inspired by it, and the show's still a popular one in the Arabic world. It's received an Arab dub with many name alterations for Arabs to culturally identify with. Future Boy Conan was also adapted into films in a spin-off series that spawned as late as 1999. Mobile Suit Gundam, 1979 to 1980. Animated and produced by Nippon Sunrise and created by Yoshiyuki Tomino and Hajime Yatate, Mobile Suit Gundam is arguably the most important series of the 70s, even though it came right at the end of the decade. The plot spans a one-year war between the Earth Federation and the domain of Zeon, with all hope resting upon the giant robot Gundam and its young pilot, Amuro Rei. This series was important for many different reasons, but the one that stands out is the killing it made with its merchandising. It showed just what great potential toy market there was for anime promotion and marketing. Mobile Suit Gundam received a sluggish reaction when it first aired, but after the toy line came through, the show's popularity went through the roof. Rerun after rerun was slated, making the show a 70s powerhouse. Mobile Suit Gundam is an action-packed emotional adventure with enough tear-jerking moments to really keep you invested until the end, so it's no wonder that it was followed by a theatrical release and a whole bunch of spin-offs and sequels like Zeta Gundam, Thunderbolt, and Iron Blood Orphans. Gundam gave birth to a new genre, hoisting the existing mecha to newer heights. It was the real robot genre that would be used throughout the 1980s. Rose of Versailles, 1979 to 80. Rose of Versailles is an absolutely captivating tale that may even serve as a charming little history lesson about the French Revolution. Directed by Tadao Nagahama and Osamu Dezaki under the umbrella of Tokyo Movie Shinsha Studios, this historical drama is about a few French royals sniffing the beginning of the end of their dynasty. The plot follows two women, Oscar, a woman raised as a man who has become the commander of the Royal Guards, and Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France. A critical and commercial banger, Rose of Versailles sold 23 million copies worldwide. Adaptations as varied as stage musicals, a live-action film called Lady Oscar, and many animations have kept Rose of Versailles' legacy alive. An anime film reboot is also slated for 2025. Anne of Green Gables, 1979. Based on the novel of the same name by Lucy Maud Montgomery, this 50-episode series was produced by Nippon Animation and directed by the brilliant Isao Takahata. Yoshiyuki Tomino of Gundam fame also joined Takahata on the storyboards, and as for the story, it's all about Anne Shirley, a fiery 11-year-old orphan girl with an elastic imagination who's adopted by the Cuthberts and brought up on their farm. It's a detailed and touching story of a family brought together by experience, if not blood. A simplistic tale told with such beauty that the viewer is instantly hooked and rooting for young Anne. The show does an incredible job of showing Anne's physical growth from a child to a young adult, like the way her freckles disappear, or how her feet start touching the floor when she sits as she grows bigger. The artist took care of everything, and that kind of attention to detail is what makes stories really come to life. This series was critically acclaimed, appearing on many best anime lists. There's also an animation film called Road to Green Gables, which is a compilation of the first 6 episodes of the original. Dino Mech Gaiking, 1976 to 1980. The common mecha theme at the time of aliens invading Earth was also adopted by Soji Yoshikawa when he wrote Dino Mech Gaiking for Toei Animation. In this 44-episode series, aliens from Zila were the attackers and Earth's hopes were pitched on the super robot Gaiking with his gigantic black boots and golden skull torso, alongside the great space dinosaurs Daiku Maryu, which carried other robots. Gaiking was part of the Shogun Warriors toy line in the US, and it also formed a part of Force 5, an American adaptation of 5 anime series by Jim Terry in the late 70s. Gaiking, the Legend of Daiku Maryu, was a reimagined account of the original, which aired on Japanese television in 2005. From the get-go, Dino Mech Gaiking's characters feel like a gamer's choice fighters, and quite predictably, Gaiking appeared in Shinshin Robot Wars for PlayStation and the subsequent Robot Wars versions for PlayStation 2. Galaxy Express 39, 1978 to 1981. Galaxy Express 39 follows the adventures of a poor young boy, Tetsuro Hoshino, who travels aboard a space train through a host of different worlds. If it sounded like a kiddie series so far, I'd let you know that a horse-mounted Lord Mecha brutally murdered Tetsuro's mother, and Tetsuro kills him to avenge her death, and all this and more happens in the first episode alone. So take Galaxy Express seriously, people. The one and only Leiji Matsumoto directed this incredibly imaginative ride under Academy Productions. The anime was inspired by the steam train in the novel Night on the Galactic Railroad. When it rolled out as a Goliath 113-episode series, it was vastly praised as a visual spectacle and for its thought-provoking themes that explored humankind's relationship with technology. Galaxy Express 39 spawned several anime films and video animations and got English dubs and subtitles for most of its offshoots, in addition to the original series, of course. Marvelous verdict! Well, Lupin III can be credited as the turnkey series for the anime boom that took over the 70s. The era was spoiled for choice with wide-ranging storylines and subgenres of anime. Anime fans must tip their hats to the 70s brood and their contributions in globalizing the Japanese animation art and the mecha boom in the next few decades. Also, you've got to watch these beautiful classic animes to believe them. There's just something about the organic manga style that went into creating the scenes and characters of the anime, which is such a stark contrast to the modern design. The watercolor backgrounds set in a surreal atmosphere and the softer lines and color schemes give the animation a fantastic hand-drawn feel. It's traditional anime at its best, and if it's not there already, we recommend adding some of these titles to your bucket list now. Alright guys, that's it from us today, but we want to hear in the comments what's your favorite classic anime. Let us know down below, and if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. This is Wizard Wheezy signing off for now, but you can always find me on Twitch. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.